2 days ago, EVgo released their investor relations information for the fiscal year 2024 with a lot of information. They also held a live presentation with a deck and opened up the floor to Q&A for about 30 minutes with investors. I took all that information, I kind of boiled it down, and I think there's a very significant story to tell here, not just about EVgo, but about electric vehicle charging in general. Specifically, this slide. This is super important. EVgo in 2021 was working with a gross margin of negative 231%. And as you see, the stair step is moving towards a break-even point. Their guidance for 2025 is a earning before interest and taxes, and I forgot what DA stands for. My apologies. Anyway, so they're basically expecting to be able to earn money in 2025. Now, this is significant because the business model, which is electric vehicle charging, because EVgo doesn't operate stores, they don't sell cars, they don't even make hardware. All they do is they deliver electrons to EV owners. That's their mission in life. And they have now proven that there is a path to financial viability in that business. Anyone else who wants to make money selling electrons to electric vehicle owners now has a model they can follow. Just be cool like EVgo, and you can do it too. Word's going to get out, and basically anyone who wants to earn profit from the sale of electric vehicle charging has a way of doing so. And if they're a property owner for like a convenience store or a big box retailer or who knows what else, even if it's modest operational profit, that means it's not a loss. You don't have to fund it in order for it to be operational on your property. So you can gain other fringe benefits, which are known as monetizing dwell time, where you could sell hot dogs to people, you can coax people to come in to buy the new plastic from China, who knows what else. So that's the important point. Let's get into how they did that. Right here, it was utilization on their chargers. And here's what's happening. There's a disparity between the number of VIO, vehicles in operation, and the amount of charge ports that are available. And the reason is the price of electric vehicles is starting to drop. When the price of electric vehicles drops, that means it starts landing in the hands of people who are not single-family home owners. So they need the ability to charge off property on a routine basis. What that's causing is a very large increase in the amount of demand for electric vehicle fast charging. EVgo is now the recipient of that benefit. Secondly, there's a very large portion of their business which is going to rideshare. So the burgeoning market of rideshare and the adoption of electric vehicles in that market and the need to quickly refuel in order to keep on clock is all driving towards higher demand of electric vehicle charging. So what they're saying in this graph is that their utilization is averaging 24%, and you can see the little breakdowns of the individual quadrants here. In the National Renewable Energy Laboratory's 2023 study, they were saying when we hit 2030, 65% of the electric vehicle charging on DC fast chargers is going to be done by people who don't have the ability to charge at home. So basically, most charging is going to be done by people who can't charge at home, and that's becoming a part of the routine use as cost of electric vehicles go down and also used electric vehicles start to disseminate through the market. 21% will be used by rideshare and only 14% by road trippers, according to the National Renewable Energy Laboratory 2023 study. So it's not a road tripping gig. It's providing electrons to people who can't charge at home, really is what the long-term viability of operators like EVgo are aiming towards. And as you can see, as the number of electric vehicles goes up, their utilization isn't parallel to that. It massively increases because it's not the number of electric vehicles, it's the price of electric vehicles coming down that causes them to spike. They've been planning for this for a long time, and kudos to EVgo. They saw the writing on the wall and they lined up and they got in the right place, and here they are on the verge of becoming a profitable CPO. The current state of EVgo, they've got $200 million cash on hand. That's far in excess of what they would need for operations throughout a given year. So even if they didn't get any more funding, no more income, everything just kind of stopped, they still have $200 million cash on hand. They just wouldn't have to build any stations and they could stay in operation for a long time. They're going nowhere anytime soon. Plus, they got this DOE loan, which might try to be clawed back by the Trump administration. There was talk on the investor relation Q&A with other investors saying, hey, what if that gets clawed back? And they said, well, we've got other sources of funding if necessary. It's a good deal for whoever wants to provide us the funds, DOE or otherwise. So they've already solicited conversations with other loan vehicles in order to supplement should that become necessary. But right now it's not. And they've already had the first $75 million dispersed in January. And I wasn't exactly sure, but I believe it's going to be every quarter, another $75 million until 2030. So they've got tons of cash. According to the slide deck, they're going to triple the number of stalls in operation that they will have between now and then as a result of this additional funding. And right now they're at 4,000 stalls, about 500 stalls behind Electrify America. Other thing learned on the investor relation presentation was the GM flagship sites are going to have up to 20 stalls. And this picture here is the first time we're seeing kind of what it's going to look like in actuality. And I had a hard time believing this is not an AI rendered image. It sure looks like a real image. If this is AI generated, kudos to the AI engines, because this looks very real to me, and I'm trying to figure out where the hell it is. It kind of looks like Florida foliage, but right now I'm going to assume that it's AI generated, but my brain is wanting me to make it real. Anyway, security cameras pull through and at locations with diverse amenities. Those were the bullet points mentioned about the flagship GM Energy locations coming online in 2025. Very exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of these popped up and going and checking them out myself, because this is definitely a game changer for EVgo. And I'm thinking I want to become an EVgo member again. I was Tesla Supercharger member for a while, but I'm thinking EVgo, I mean, just look at charging at that location with inexpensive rates. You can get down into the low 20 cents per kilowatt hour dispensing if you're an EVgo Plus Max member, and it's not that expensive. On a personal note, something about the EVgo slide deck that I was able to ferret out was this bar right here, 2025 bar. If you look at the blue, what that's referring to is EVgo Extend. And EVgo Extend in 2025 is going to be a combination between Pilot Flying J and Meyer. Meyer is going to be a small portion of it. It's going to be mostly Pilot Flying J. So you can see we did 422 stalls in 2024. That is in line with the numbers that I saw for Pilot Flying J stations coming online. And we're going to see a similar number with a little bit extra. So we did, about 115 stations in Pilot Flying J in 2024. And according to this, we can assume the same number plus a little bit extra coming in 2025. It's also important to note, it's kind of hard to see in this slide, but there's this checker thing called potential extend, which is kind of hard to see, but it is here in these graphs, and it ends on 2027. So the initial press releases for Pilot Flying J was they were going to finish their 500 stations in 2027. And according to this graph, that seems to be what EVgo is planning for as well. So sometime in 2027, Pilot Flying J will be completely built out with 500 stations, which was their initial press release. So kudos to them for sticking to the script. Now, future state. Because they now have a viable business opportunity as good, ruthless capitalists, they're trying to get even more profitable. I mean, why not? Now we know how to make money, let's make more money. And what they're doing is they're working with Dell to get a next generation hardware that will allow them to decrease the cost per stall to install, a la Tesla supercharger, where the goal is to decrease the amount of capital it takes to put in a stall. In which case, the number of stalls that the DOE loan will fund will increase. Now, it's not going to be huge, but I think they threw numbers around like 15% or 20% more stalls as a result of the next generation hardware. But that's not going to be available until the second half of 2026, and the prototypes are supposed to be visible later this year. We're not really sure what it's going to look like. I'm guessing some kind of silicon carbide in rectifiers in them, and perhaps a distributed model similar to what we see with ChemPower and the Alpitronic HYC 1000s. Not sure, but we should start to see those later this year. And so anyway, the big news is they're making money. This year, EVgo has proven that being an electric vehicle charging operator is a money-making venture. And the word's going to get out. Soon they're not going to be the only kids on the block. Now, luckily, they've got a pretty well-oiled machine, so anyone who wants to spin up and get close to them is going to have a hard time, and maybe they'll just want to do a extend with EVgo or try to go alone. But the point is that this is now a proven business model. And if you go to a bank to get a loan in order to operate electric vehicle chargers, you just have to point to EVgo to prove that it's a money-making operation, and you can put that in your business plan. Anyway, thanks for watching.